Okay, Sunday, 31st of March 2024. So beware of the Puritan fallacy when comparing yourself to other people, and look especially with people who are, say, materialistic or wealthy or have what you want. So the Puritan fallacy is kind of something I realised and noticed by observing reality and looking at how people behave. So people would see other people who have something they want. Let's say a nice expensive sports car, for example, and they would want that car, but then they would justify themselves internally, a coping mechanism, and say something like, well, he's got that car, that fancy flashy thing, but I'm a better person. I'm a better person. I go to church on Sunday and say my prayers and whatever else. I'm better. He may have something I want, but he's corrupt, he's evil, he's bad. I'm a pure person. Trying to look for the moral high ground as a way to cope by not having something, or cope with lacking something that they themselves desire. Because really, it's a coping mechanism. It's a coping mechanism, and it's a way of justifying to themselves why they don't have something, or try to ease that pain of not having it and say, I may not have this, but at least I'm X. Now, I need to be aware of that, because one, you could be using it as a way to justify to yourself why you're you haven't achieved what you want, and it just could be a way of coping with your lack of achievement. That's one way of looking at it. But also at the same time, you're applying a personality trait to someone who you don't know of, you're not familiar with. So you could be having an issue with the person themselves, they could be doing something that you want to do, but you're saying, well, they're not very good people. But how do you truly know that? That's a bit of a fallacy as well. Okay, it's very muddy down here. So we have to be careful of that. We have to be careful about how we approach and view people who have things we want. Are we saying to ourselves, I'm better than them, I'm holier than them, I'm better, out of observation? Or is it in here as in a pain when you don't have something, when they have something you don't? Because then ideally in the ideal world, the correct thing to do would be to use that pain, so to speak, to motivate you and push you forward to trying to achieve what you want, creating and having what you want. Why settle for the pain of not having something, when instead use that pain, let's say, to push you forward and propel you forward to achieve what you want? Thus having and being, nice little puddle here, gotta be careful. Thus having and being the person you want to be. Makes sense, I say. So rather than trying to default to a sort of I'm better than them kind of attitude, instead it seems more productive to instead use that to push you forward in life and achieve more things and do more things in life. Because when we start justifying our failures or lack of successes or whatever, and start saying I'm better than them, then we start finding excuses in life. And we don't want excuses, we want successes. Now, understand, sometimes there's excuses for things. Why did this happen? Why did X, Y, or Z happen? Excuses exist. But still, we don't want excuses in life. We want results. We don't want problems. We want solutions. Look at that cow. That's a different kind of cow. It's got big horns as well. Yeah, so we want to avoid finding excuses in our life. No. Now, of course, it's unavoidable, there's always going to be an excuse for something, but I prefer to think mentally and personally, the reason why I didn't achieve something is because I didn't try hard enough, or I didn't do the right thing, or try again next time. This is kind of why in the past, in other videos, I've said that you can learn, you learn from defeats, but you can also learn from victories if you're humble enough. If you're humble enough to analyze situations, think of scenarios, imagine different scenarios. There's that cow again. Yeah, imagine different scenarios where you things could have gone differently, or could have gone better or worse, and try to analyse. Try to analyse what could have gone better. How simulating different scenarios, and think, well, if X or Y had happened or had not happened, then what would I have done? What could I have done? Hypotheticals. And then we are growing, we are learning. And the more we grow, the more we learn, the more likely we are to succeed. The more likely we are to succeed, the fewer excuses we need because we actually achieved something rather than didn't achieve it. And therefore, we have what we want. And that defeats the whole point of the Puritan fallacy. More of them, very nice. Because the whole point is envy. We want to be careful of envy. That's not good. And it seems, now on topic of that, it seems that there's certain personality traits that will hold us back in life. I actually did a video about this a few months ago. I think it was months ago now. Stubbornness, sensitivity and pride, those things will hold you back. Those things will hold you back from being more humble, from being able to analyse what happened, being able to think what to do next, or think critically what I did wrong, or being retrospective, and thinking and being critical, being objective. Yes, that way we don't fall into this coping mechanism of, well, I don't have X, but at least I'm a better person. Oh yes, I am morally superior. Which, by the way, when you think about it, path of least resistance, that's the easy way out of saying an easy excuse. So I can't compete on most of the things, but the one thing I can compete on is this feeling inside, which is, I'm a better person. Yeah, and you could say, well, that kind of goes into arrogance. Now that's an interesting topic for another reason. I might have to do another video about that another time, but that's something else. But nonetheless, this Puritan fallacy, I'm better, I'm holier than thou. Need to be careful with that. Any kind of coping mechanism, I've come to realise is not really what we want. Because we want successes, we want victories. And a coping mechanism is just an excuse we play in our minds. Now, of course, we're not always going to win, not always going to succeed. Then I think then it would be down to how humble you are to learn from your experience and grow and improve. Yeah, I suspect so. But otherwise, having a nice walk here. Very wet, I'm surprised. There's more water. It's all part of the adventure, not going to stop me. But otherwise, you will see me tomorrow.